Good afternoon, all. Thank you for joining me for this week's TNT. You'll notice I'm on my own today. Jennifer is ill, so my co-host isn't available. And then usually I have a couple of other helpers I can tap, but they weren't available. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you want me to answer a question, I cannot handle the chat. You need to raise your virtual hand so that I can answer it. And to raise your virtual hand, it might be under the three dots, the more, or it might be under reactions, or it might be raise your hand, depends on what version of Zoom that you have. So see if you can figure that out so you know how to raise your virtual hand. I'm going to make some announcements in the meantime while we're queuing up for any questions you might have brought with you today. My first one is I'm very excited to announce that an interactive in-person training is happening in my own town, Modesto, California. It is for those who are interested in becoming inspector of election. I have done a Zoom call on this, but what the feedback I got was, it's too hard to figure this out, too many moving parts. I need to participate. I need to do it. So we are going to hold a mock election. You will be a voter if you join us. You do have to attend in order to participate. We'll also go through the tabulation process and certification process at the end. I will also have a property manager there to talk to us about when a notary is marketing their service, who do they talk to? Is it the board member? Is it the property manager? How do they go about finding out how they handle their own elections? So it's only a half a day because I wanted to make it drivable. And I will say this is California centric. I'm not expecting anybody outside of California to come for this. The opportunity exists for those outside of California. I just didn't read their laws to see what was required. I know the laws for the state of California regarding the Davis-Sterling Act and what's required. So if that is of interest to you, I will post. And it's coachmelora.com/HOA. Let's see if that works. Hopefully that link will work for you. It's on my website, coachmelora.com/HOA. It's going to be on July 20th, and that's a Saturday morning, like 9 to 12. So if that's something that interests you, then go ahead and go check that out. The other announcement is that coming up is Montana, which is in August, and that is, I want to say 15th of August. If anybody's considering that, you might want to get your airline tickets because after June 19th, airline tickets are going up in price. Then in October, there are several things going on. At the front end of the month is the retreat in Scottsdale, Arizona. I will be one of the speakers there. And that's put on by Notary Academy. And then at the 19th, 20th, around there, is the Philly Social. That's put on by Judy Lawrence. Bill will be there. I will be there. There'll be some other people that you've heard of will be there as well. She usually has 12, 15 different speakers. Particularly, she seeks out Secretary of State people. So that should be a great opportunity as well. So those are some of the things coming up for opportunity on peer events or notary events for the end of 2024. Now, I only see one hand up, and I am going to go to Carolyn in just a moment. If you are on today and you are in a position to put your camera on, I'd really appreciate that rather than looking at just names on the screen. That would be fantastic. If you're driving, I get it, leave it off. Or if you're not appropriately attired, that's fine, leave your camera off. But those who are in a position to do so, I'd surely appreciate it. All right, we are going to start with Carolyn. And remember, I need to know your state besides your name. Carolyn, can you unmute, please? so Carolyn, it doesn't look like it's unmuting for you. You might want to go back out and come back in, and that way it might work. So log out, log back in. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for you, Gulnar.
Yes, I'm from Washington State. And
Mm-hmm.
the question that I have is I bought a Brother printer. I made sure that it would be compatible with my Mac and everything, and I could do legal. I checked everything out. I bought it. And then after I get it here, I find out that it will not sort legal and letter size because of the type of Mac that I have. I
The
have
Mac, yeah.
yeah. They said with the older version, it'll work, but not this version. So is there a solution to this? I don't know what to do.
So I don't know the solution to that. I'm not really tech savvy. That's not
Mhm.
something I can help you with. However, there may be somebody who's on right now who
Mhm.
could share a response to you about that. Daniel, are you waving crazily because you have the answer, the solution?
Not exactly, but I have an idea. A lot of times Mac computers want to use the Mac drivers when you're using to print, and it always defaults to the Mac drivers. If you use something like the Acrobat Reader to view your PDFs, it does have an internal print engine within it that does allow page sorting. Now, I'm not a Mac person. I know I've seen this work, but the thing is, it's not the default. So you'd have to figure out a way for your PDF viewer to be the Acrobat driver and make sure that it's the default one. If you don't, then you'll need a page separator of some kind. The people are saying there's one on Notary Rotary. I know there's one on Notary Cafe, but just be sure it always Macs always want to default to their print driver. And so make sure you're using the Acrobat print driver that comes with the Acrobat Reader, or if you have full, I mean, I have full Acrobat because I use it for a lot more stuff than that. But the free print, the free Acrobat Reader is a worthwhile download. And if you're reading your documents from there, then that particular print engine should allow, because it bypasses the Apple stuff and does stuff directly.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, another option in the chat was to call Brother and see if they can help you. But if not, Daniel certainly has a good recommendation.
Yeah, I did call
Okay.
Brother. They tried to help me, but it didn't work. So I guess I have to call them again, see if they can do something else.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking. I'm going to take Ellie in just a moment here, but I'm going to take. Okay, you guys might figure out that I'm teaching today, and so I may get disrupted. Ellie, I see your hand up.
Hi, this is Ailey from San Francisco Bay Area, California. I have a question. I had a refi yesterday, and wife said the husband is not on title and he's not a borrower, but his name appear on the mortgager for a property in Florida. So my question is, if someone is not on title and not a borrower, can they be on the mortgager?
Well, it doesn't sound right to me if you're saying he's a non-borrower. A mortgage indicates um, should indicate whoever signing that there's going to be a lien on the house uh, with uh, with a mortgage. A mortgage is similar to a deed of trust system where they're putting a lien on the house until the loan is paid. And if he's not a borrower and he's not on title either, it doesn't sound like he should be. However, if that happened to me, I would be contacting who hired me in the first place.
Yeah,
Meaning, was it a signing company or a title company?
okay, the lender is Rocky Mortgage, and they say his name is on the mortgager because he is signing for spousal interest.
Okay. If they're telling you, then what's the problem?
But the wife was saying that the reason she did the refinance is to get her husband off title. And my understanding is, the mortgager or deed of trust usually match the vesting of the property.
Yeah, the mortgage and deed of trust will work the same. But the thing is that's between Rocket Lawyer, a Rocket Mortgage, and the wife. That's not a conversation we need to be getting into. If they're saying it's community property state in California, and that's why we need to do it this way, then, and if she doesn't like that or doesn't agree with that, then she needs to be having a conversation with them. We don't need to be getting in the middle of that. Because it's
Okay,
the detail is beyond what we should be doing.
okay. At first, my explanation to her is, all the people on the mortgager will be untitled. And so that's not her understanding. So she refused to sign. But then
Okay.
Rocket Mortgage called her back to explain that the
Okay.
husband is signing just for the spousal interest,
Uh-huh.
which I don't really quite understand.
Okay. Well, whether we do or not, that's not something we need to worry about. It's between the signer and the lender. The lender saying he's going to have to sign this document because of spousal interest, because they're in a community property state. He'll have to decide, is she going to sign or not going to sign in the end?
Okay.
That's why we don't explain documents. We'll present this as the mortgage. This is the mortgage document. This is what it does. And then that's the end of it. They sign or they don't sign. They have questions. They can read the document. They have questions. They can speak to the lender. But we cannot be getting into it any deeper than that.
Okay, so in the future, I should present then the mortgage or the deed of trust, just saying that who's on this document.
So a deed of trust, what it does is it says, look, until you pay this off, it's like having a lien on your house. You can't sell it. You can't transfer ownership. You can't do anything with it unless you pay it off first. You can't refinance it unless you pay off this one, and then you can have a new loan. So that's the purpose of that document. Here's who they've listed to be signing on it, right? That's what you're going to be saying. And when they start saying, well, why? As soon as they say why, I'm out of that conversation. Because we're not escrow officers, we're not lenders, we're not attorneys. So we cannot get into the why. It's different than whatever it is they anticipated.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Daniel, you're back. But you're muted.
It's good to see everybody. I don't get to come on these calls very often, and I'll let you know I have to run. I'm on autism duty today. So if I leave abruptly, you guys all know what happened. It's good to be here. I haven't seen you guys for a while. I see my boy Cody on this call. We've been sending each other customers now for the past 2 years. It's good to have our own community here. So I see he's here. Good to see you there, Cody. So my issue's coming, Laura, on hospital signings. I'm doing it more than my share, which is good stuff. But the issues are coming where we get the call that starts, gee, we should have done this months ago, but here we are. And we don't have a last will. We don't have a power of attorney. We don't have an advance directive. Can you bring those with you? Can you get them? And I've been trying to send them to some of the websites that are out there saying, look, it's not my job to do that, and I don't want to. And the reason is because there are lots of them out there, and they're all different, right. And you need the one that's going to fit you. That's not the first thing is not flying, because they're stuck in a hospital room. Sometimes they don't have internet access. I'm giving them 3 sites. I'm giving them eForms. I'm giving them LegalZoom, and I'm giving them Law Depot. I don't know if there's any others people recommend, but I have given them some resources in that regard. I'm running up on, yeah.
Daniel, do you have other resources besides internet ones that you can offer them?
I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like I should be printing them out and putting them in my bag for sure.
I don't mean that. I mean, do you have
Okay.
other resources that are not the internet? Meaning, do you have relationships with paralegals? Do you have relationships with anyone that you could give them a phone number and they could speak to somebody who can do those things?
Perhaps. I mean, I don't. I think I probably could put that together simple enough. And I would need to have something. Right now, my best resource has been the social workers at the hospitals. And I've been sending them to, look, you've got guest services. I've actually got pretty good. The main hospital that's near me is called St. Vincent. And I know, I mean, their social workers calling me. I have their numbers and I actually have to go through the switchboard to get them, which is kind of cool. But and I said, look, if so-and-so's up, but this is usually on a Saturday evening or a Sunday evening. Nobody's there. And so I doubt we'd be able to get a paralegal there on a Saturday night either.
Well, they can talk to them on the phone, Daniel. They don't have to be in person. They could
Okay.
interview them on the phone. The paralegal can prepare the document, and then the document can be picked up by the notary. I've done that,
Okay.
or sent over. Yeah. So I have paralegals in my city when it's just, those 3 documents and they need them right away. And I hook them up with the paralegals. I say, look, paralegals can prepare these documents. They'll have to interview you, get the information. They can prepare them. They'll call me when the documents are ready. I'll go pick them up from their office and take them to the hospital. I'm not saying that's the only
No.
thing, but you've got email. That's
Yeah.
one. But if they don't have internet connection, then what are your backup resources to that? It might even be an attorney. Like, I'm connected with attorneys, and sometimes it's an attorney rather than a paralegal. And if they're calling me at 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday, there isn't going to be any way to create a document at that time of what they're asking the impossible. What am I going to do? I can't create it. Those other resources are probably not available at that time.
That's a really good idea, though. I mean, that's not one I had considered, so I appreciate that. The other question I have is on a similar note. If it's a will, then we're going to need witnesses. And most of the organizations that I'm signing at have rules about their own employees acting as witnesses. And so what are the only strategy I've had, and it has worked, is basically to go out into the lobby and see who's waiting and find guests of other patients saying, hey, I hope you're, I know you may be waiting here a while. Would you mind helping us out? Are there any other ways that you've seen to get through and I know also, particularly these hospitals, if a lot of people work at the hospital that aren't employees of the hospital, they're employees of other agencies, they're usually fine. But are there any other strategies we have for getting witnesses? Because this has become a struggle.
Daniel, I have a list of notaries. I call notaries and they're going to pay for a notary to come and be a witness. So whatever that fee is, then they're going to ask, depending on how close it is to them, it could be $25 to $50 to hire a witness.
Okay.
Well, that's another strategy.
I do have that list actually, and that I never thought of that for the hospitals, but that's not a bad idea. I mean,
they walk in, they witness, they make a little money, and they're out.
Okay.
Quick for
Those are
them.
good answers. Take care, everybody, and good to see y'all.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for asking that. And the one thing I do want to point out that in Daniel's conversation there is that sometimes people call us and they're wanting a miracle. They're calling us on a Sunday night. They need it right now, and they haven't taken care of their business. And now their emergency they think is going to be my emergency. And the thing is, I will do what I can to assist them, but I cannot create documents for them. There are certain things I cannot do, and it will have to wait. And some of those documents, let me tell you, if they say, I don't know if they'll be alive by tomorrow, well, then they aren't going to need the first 2 documents, because that's over. Those only work when they're alive. It's only the will. You're down, and they can handwrite that. They can, in California, they can handwrite a will, and a handwritten will does not have to have called a holographic will. It doesn't have to have the same procedures as a typed up will. It's much easier for them.
I also get the feeling that many of the people feel that a notary is many times, a mobile notary is another word for a cheap lawyer that actually answers the phone.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
what it's worth.
Education. It's an opportunity to educate the public one person at a time. And I've been doing that for 20 years. So I know I've impacted a lot of the community and certainly the hospitals. I educate hospitals about what we do, what we don't do, what needs to be in place before we come, all of those kinds of things I have been doing over the last 20 years. So it starts with telling them, here's what I can do. Here's how I can help you. And so you've got resources. If you've got internet, let me send you some emails with some internet sites. If you want to talk to a person, here's another resource that I have. Of course, if it's at a time of day when everything else is closed, there's not much I can do about that. Okay, but I'm glad hospital work is picking up, that it's happening for you.
It's
And
probably it's probably 60% of my business right now.
Yeah, hospitals are a big deal for me. I have 4 of them in my town. So in fact, I'm missing one today, and I sent my son to go to the hospital and take care of it for me because, when I'm teaching, I can't do notarizations. That's why you want to have a buddy list. You want to have somebody you can hand over a job to if you need to. So Daniel's question got answered. I don't see any hands up for any other questions. If you're putting any questions in the chat, just know I cannot respond there. You need to put up your hand so that I can hear what your question is and ask you questions if I don't understand it. Sometimes we're typing quickly and the chat comes off very cryptic and I'm not quite sure what you're asking. So I'm going to skip Daniel for a moment. I'll come back to you, Daniel. David, if you'd unmute and tell me your state.
Yeah, hi, my name is David Reed. I'm in Florida. I have a marketing question. I was talking to someone at the NNA yesterday. She mentioned findanotary.com for me. I wanted to know if anybody in the group has signed up with that, if they've seen any good results, and if it's worth the investment.
Okay, great. So in the chat, anybody who's used findanotary.com, that if you don't know what that directory is, it is hosted by the NNA. It is for really any kind of work beyond loan signings. Loan signings is their signing agent website, that directory, and then everything else would be Find a Notary. I have it myself. I signed my son up on it, and he's starting to get work because he's a newer notary. And although I'm referring work to him, he needed to find other ways to get it. So let's just see if there's anybody. Rose said she's on there. She's received calls. Somebody else said they didn't. I think it's just a matter of, did you go in? I mean, when you go in, you have to go in and maximize or optimize the profile. They start out with basic stuff and you need to add all these other things to it so that it's robust and it has more keywords and there's more chance for you to get found. So I believe it's a $99 commitment for the year.
That's correct.
Yeah. So if you don't get enough response, I see people are still responding. They do require a background check. That's one of the things that they tout, is that these notaries, unlike other directories, you need to have a background check. If you already have one for your NSA, then it's the same one. And the 99 includes that. Good. All right. Yeah, it's only been out not quite a year, right about a year. Okay, well, I hope they give you enough information for you to make a decision, David, but I will say this, the more places you are, the higher the chance that somebody's going to stumble upon you. When you're using the internet to find people, always Google My Business Profile is probably the number one. Okay, Laura, would you like to talk to me?
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I do hear you.
Okay. I just have a question about finding a concise way to best learn California laws. I'm a little overwhelmed with learning the laws, but I can't really set my foot out there too much until I feel like really confident about them. Do you think there's a good way or strategy or method, I mean, to doing that?
And Laura, you said California for you?
Yes.
Because you were breaking it up. So, of course, it does take a little time. Deliberate practice is just that. It's pushing your boundaries and learning something you don't know very well yet. I do have a course called Real World for California. It's 2.5 hours. And I go through just a brief part of the law, just enough to get you restarted. And then the rest of it is working with documents, practicing notarizations, real world stuff. If you didn't know about it, then you might want to check that out and see if that's what you'd like. It is at notarycoach.com /LBP. I will put it in the chat. And when you get to it, there are different states. So pick California.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, that should help
Thank
you
you.
quite a
Yeah,
bit.
if I'm breaking up at all, that was it. Thank you, Laura. I will check that out.
You are so welcome. Thanks for checking in. Valdemitra?
Hi, Laura.
Hi.
I wanted to tell David that I've been using that I can't remember the name of it
Notary?
right now. But I've been using it since they first came out, and they are good. I find that um the people, like, I get a lot of people from them, and I get better rates than some of the other platforms I have. I don't know why, but I do. So I guess when you have a good profile up there with the NNA, it really helps. And I get work from them all the time, all the time.
What, do you mind telling me like what kind of work then and like
Oh,
what's the
I get general notary work. I get basically general notary work, but I do get some type loan signing sometime, and yeah, just basic general notary work and loan signing. Yeah,
and what state are you in?
I'm in Escondido, California.
Okay. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
And
Laura,
yeah,
Laura,
go
I
ahead.
wanted to ask you, I don't know if you remember last week I talked to you about the signing agency that I'm not getting paid from. What do you
Right.
do when a signing agency doesn't pay you?
Well, I have Legal Shield, so I take it to Legal Shield and I give them the information and they do a demand letter for me, which has like, the 80 different attorneys that are represented with that organization. And
Mm-hmm.
it is sent out to them that says, you know what, you have 30 days to get this paid or we're taking the next legal action, which
Okay.
means we're going to go file at the
Okay.
courthouse. And the 2 times I've done it, I got paid right away.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's what I have used. There are other collection
Mm-hmm.
processes. I mean, you can, but they usually take like 30% or there's a
Right.
big
Right.
fee for that.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the
It's not.
2 ways. I have filed a small claim,
Mm-hmm.
and the day I was going in to file, they met me
They
at the
pay.
door. And said, "Why are you doing this?" I said, "Well, you're not paying me. That's why."
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. 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 I will never use this as a Notary Americas or something. I'll never use them again, or
and
never
so
work for them again.
you might end up losing out on that one job.
Right.
So not
Right. Right.
do it again. Thank goodness it's just one job and not 2 jobs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And think about, I mean, you can write your own demand letter, but
Mm-hmm.
you
That's
have
what I
to
was thinking.
research how to do that. It's so nice to
Right.
have all these attorneys at the top. They're like shaking in their boots. When Laura Biewer sends it, they don't care. But when it's
Exactly.
my attorney who sends it, it seems to make a difference.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Joanne?
Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Question on when it's an estate planning appointment that is attorney, there's an attorney there and the attorney is running it. How
Mhm.
important is it that, the witnesses pay attention, or, if the attorney doesn't seem to care that they're
I
paying
got that for
attention
the
to the
will?
signing?
For the
Mhm.
will?
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, it's very significant and it's very important. If an attorney isn't concerned, I'd say they're a new attorney. Because most of the attorneys I talk with, it's a big deal. I need to stop what I'm doing. I'm not filling out a certificate. I am watching what's going on in front of me. The other witnesses should be doing the same thing, because if it's challenged in a court of law, they might say, and when this person was signing, what were you doing? I was getting a glass of water, but I didn't leave the house. Oh, but was your back turned for a moment? I mean, did you see them actually affix their signature? So the signature can be challenged, even though there's witnesses there, particularly if the witnesses were not watching what was going on at the time. Just being in the room is not enough. Now, if the attorney is in charge of the signing, they're there and they're running it, themselves. So it's important for them to be in charge. Now, if you're by yourself, you don't have an attorney with you, you can take charge and say, everybody stop, which is what I do. Stop. Our job right now is to watch you sign. And then when you're done signing, we can go back to whatever it is that we're occupying ourselves with.
So, I mean, if I observe that the attorney, like I said, doesn't seem to care about it, I mean, do you say anything
It says
later?
no. Why would I try to make the attorney feel bad or look bad in front of their client? No, I would not say anything. That is the attorney's job. He's the attorney, not me. Here's what I will do. I will pay attention. My hope is that will set the tone and the lead that they will do so as well. But I don't think it's my job to correct an attorney.
Okay, thank you.
I can't raise my hand.
Okay. Is that Rose that's saying
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
Okay. And so you had a question. Oh, Rose, before you do that, I just want to take a look at something. Hold on. Just a minute. I got to look and see if something's happening here.
I wasn't able to last week either.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure that the right person was going in the door. Okay. Now, Rose, you had a question.
Actually, I had two questions. Me and my husband, May 1st, we had all of our wills done, power of attorney,
Yes.
advanced directive. And I made a comment to the attorney because they were using two different colors. I said, are you supposed to be using two different colors? I said, because in the field that I am as a notary, we're supposed to keep all colors the same because you don't know if somebody signed it at a different time. And he said, no, we use both black or blue. It doesn't really matter. You can use them all in the same package. I said, well, I never heard of that before.
So, what state?
New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm not. My understanding of ink color has to do with whoever the issuing agency is and what their preference is. Or it could be it's a recordable document, then it's the recordable. The recording laws might state it needs to be black versus blue.
Right.
Certainly, it is a best practice for everyone to be using the same color. That would be the best practice in any state. But there's
no matter what I do.
There's no law, Rose. There's no law that says it has to be this way or that way if it's not a recordable document.
I always try to go with somebody's using blue, then I stick with the blue if they've started like just filling out
Well-
I say, you know what, let's just stay with blue because if it comes up with an issue with it being two different colors, I just like to go with the same color with everything.
Okay, well, Rose, that's a good idea, but it's not the requirement. That's what I
Right.
want you to understand, is that we can't force people to do
Right.
something if it's not a requirement, when it's my best practice. Um, if somebody is saying, well, I don't think it matters, you um, could give a suggestion that this would help minimize any chance of signatures being challenged that they weren't done at the same time,
Right.
by everybody working in the same color. But if they want to work in a different color, that's the end of that story. I'm
Right.
done.
Okay. My second question is, I did take the cannabis notary course.
Uh-huh.
And we have a lot of distilleries in our the medical ones. How
Yeah.
much does it go by state or does it go by how much they have to pay? How much do you charge them if I come across one of them?
So first of all, it's not about the documents, it's about your state and what your state allows you to charge for notary fees and or travel fees, because that's most likely how you're going to be pricing things.
Okay.
It's not like you're going to have like a trust where you're going to have different documents there. So it's probably a few documents at a time, and just as you would charge anybody else. What's the travel? What's the notary?
Okay. So you don't charge them anymore like a certified delivery trust agent. You just
Well,
sign
it's
it
not
like
the same thing.
right.
A trust is going to have 6 to 8 documents
Right.
involved. You might be printing the documents. You are going to be orchestrating the whole appointment. With this is like a mobile appointment. I show up, you show me your document, you sign it, I notarize it.
Right. And another question is I don't feel like I'm overcharging. I had a couple people ask me about doing a mortgage closing for them, and they asked me a price, and I said it could be anywhere between 50 to 100, and sometimes it could be between 100 to 150. And they say, "Oh, well, I can just go to my bank and get it done for free." And I'm like, "Well, I'm a specialty notary." I said, "I handle that. I'm a loan signing agent." And then sometimes they'll come and sometimes they just hang up the phone because they think I'm overcharging. But I'm setting myself short at the same time. But I'm trying to help, and try to get the business so I get my reoccurring clients that I have.
Well, here's the thing, is not everybody's my customer. I
Right.
have a business model. My business model says this is what I need to charge in order to be right side up on jobs and to have a profit for myself. So
Correct.
that fee may not be what somebody else feels they want to pay. And thank goodness they may have an option where they could go to the bank or they can go to a shipping store and do it for less, if that's the case. Of course, when they do that, they will not be helped by those people. They'll get notarization, right? They're going to say
Right.
which one needs to be notarized, pull those out. That's all I'm going to help you with, which is very different than what we do in terms of orchestrating the entire appointment, collecting the signatures on all the documents, checking for initials on all the documents, all of those extra services that we provide, they're not going to get, but maybe they can't afford to get them, and they're going to choose another path. And I never have an issue when somebody tells me, well, can't I just come to your office? I say, I'm not that kind of notary. I'm a mobile notary. And really, you're paying for the convenience and my time and gas to come to you. But I understand if you have the ability to come to my office, let me send you to a notary where you don't need an appointment and you can just walk in and take care of your document. And I tell them where they can go. And they really appreciate that. And there may be a time when they do need my service. It just wasn't this time. And so they're just not my customers today. But when you're helpful and of value to customers, they will end up coming back to you.
Yes, they do, because I get a lot of UPS mistakes. I had one over the weekend where the person signed his name wrong and he had to redo all the paperwork, and motor vehicle was giving him a rough time. So I do come across a lot of those mistakes. So that helps me out, and then I feel bad because they paid, so I try not to overpay because I'm fixing literally UPS stores mistakes. And like you said, they can go to the bank, but they're not going to get the information because I have a full office. So a lot of mine is general notary work and they come to me. It's very seldom that I'm doing that much mobile anymore. I do a lot of the nursing homes and assisted livings, but a lot of them like the convenience of coming into my office because after 6 o'clock, after 7 o'clock, after 8 o'clock, everything's closed, and I'm a convenience because I have the full office. I make a copy if they need a copy and help them out, and then that's what gets me to get them to come back because I go the extra mile.
Okay, so Rose, was there a question in all of that?
A
Or
what?
were you just sharing? I just want to know.
I was just sharing.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure I didn't miss something there. And I think that conversation is the same for everybody. Not everybody's your customer. Not everybody needs mobile service, but they happen to get you. So be valuable. Direct them where they can get the service that they need. So beautiful. Okay. So now Carolyn hasn't had an opportunity. Carolyn? Application.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, just a moment here. Okay. Am I unmuted? Okay.
I'm Carolyn.
There we go, Carolyn.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Carolyn.
Okay, Carolyn from California.
Okay.
This is my first time trying to talk on this, so at any rate.
Uh-huh.
Question is, the title company one of the title companies has a system where it's authenticating the signer. Excuse me, let me get that.
Say that again. What is their system?
Where you're authenticating the signer.
Okay.
You download this program called MyTech. You take a picture of the signer and you take a picture front and back of their driver's license. Then the system is supposed to mesh the two and authenticate the signer being the real person. I tried it several times and I couldn't get it to work.
Is this system for remote online? Is this for in person? I'm not quite understanding what the connection is.
In fact, they did a demonstration in the office, and then I went out and to a signing and tried to do it on my own. And the customer tried to use my phone and try and take their own picture, and it just didn't work. But I was wondering if you've even heard of this before.
I've never heard of it.
I know.
If somebody else has, they can answer in the chat. I've never heard of it.
It was, just so you know, it was Chicago title. I mean, it's not like it's a system that they've started with a company called MyTech, MITEK. They gave me a little pamphlet, supposed to be instructions, but it's not helpful. So, okay, well,
so Carolyn,
yes?
Carolyn, I can't really tell you anything about it because I've never heard of it before.
Okay, all right, bottom line, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, there is an ID verification system that the government uses, ID Me, and the very first time I had to take a picture of myself and be authenticated. But other than that system, I'm not aware of any other. Okay, James?
Okay.
Carolyn, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, if you'll mute yourself again, that would be great. And then James, if you'll unmute.
Oh, hello, guys. I'm in California, if you don't know that. Um, I actually just had a question. I had a colleague take a document to be apostilled here in LA, downtown LA, and I guess it was rejected because the stamp had to be purple and not black. And I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Where was it taken? What was the receiving agency?
I don't know, but that's what I was thinking. It's like, oh, maybe the receiving agency, but when they take it to be apostilled, the Secretary of State rejected it because of that, which doesn't make sense
Because
to
it
me.
needs to be purple. I mean, I do apostilles all the time.
Yeah,
I do not have a purple stamp. So I'm wondering if it's been miscommunicated. I mean, did you read
I
it
think
that it
so.
was? I
No,
think it was
yeah,
miscommunicated why the rejection happened.
yeah, I think so too, because that doesn't make, I've done it before too, and why would they reject it just for that? And I
But this
thought
is
maybe it's a,
California. Yeah, who knows?
exactly. But
Yeah.
anyhow,
People can have purple stamps in California or violet stamps. I don't happen to, but
yeah.
you can have them. So first of all, it's an approved color, let's say.
Mhm.
So I think there's something else going on and the person didn't tell you.
Yeah, I think so too, but I just thought I'd check and see.
Okay. I'm not aware of
Yeah,
anything that would disqualify that.
yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate
All
it.
right.
All
You're
right, bye-bye.
welcome. Okay. So the two people who have their hands up, I don't know if you left them up because you have another question or you forgot to take them down. So I just want to
I had
start with
another
you if
question I
you're
forgot to ask you.
okay. So I'll go to you
Just
first and then Aletha.
all right, real quick. I know that one of our fellow notaries created a calendar,
Uh-huh.
and I'm trying to find out do I don't know if you know, does that calendar kind of intertwine with Notary Assist, or you don't need Notary Assist if you have this calendar?
It is not integrated with that, but I am not the developer. The developer is on the call today, Tony. If you'd like to unmute yourself for a moment, he is one of our spotlight people in NBB. And so, Valmitra, you're asking if it was integrated with Notary Assist. I do not believe it is integrated with them, but Tony, why don't you say?
No, it is not. But when an order comes through, you can use the import feature on Notary Assist, which works just like it does with anything else. So not integrated, but simple to manually integrate it, if you will.
So you use one or the other.
They're
No,
two different
use both.
things.
I'm sorry, what'd you say,
Use both.
Tony?
Yeah, use both.
Use both. Okay.
Yeah, one is bookkeeping. The other one is managing your appointments, going where you're going and coming and setting enough time in between them, right?
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean,
Just
Notary Assist doesn't do that. Notary Assist, you can put the information in and they'll track it for you.
Right.
You can actually map out something through Notary Assist
Mhm.
because they're integrated with like Google Maps or something like that. I mean, so
Yeah.
there are some things you can do, but this software is very different in that it's real time creating your calendar based on where you tell it you're going to be or where you need to go. Tony, is that correct?
yeah, kind of. It basically just builds drive time around your appointment. So if somebody's looking for your availability, what your schedule is, the time slots that it will show, you put in the address, the date, what type of signing you need, and then the system, the algorithm will go through your appointment and pull out the drive time. So if you've got one appointment that's 45 minutes away and one that's 15, it accounts for that. And then shows
Oh,
time slots of your actual availability.
Right.
oh, okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
it calculates your fee too. So it'll automatically calculate how far you're driving and show your customer exactly how much you'll charge for that type of signing.
Okay. I purchased it, but I just didn't understand whether I had to get rid of Notary Assist or not. So I wasn't sure. Okay.
Right. You want them
Got
both.
it. Thank you.
I thought your name looked familiar.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay. And Tony, I have a question. Is there a free level version of that or just a paid version right now?
There is a free version, yes.
There is a free version. Can you put a link or something in the chat for those who want to try to get to that?
Yep, and I will be doing a just a preview today at 4 actually.
Okay.
Let
So
me,
there
I'll
you go.
put that in the chat as well. So get logged back in here.
Okay, thank you. All right,
In just a second.
Alethea, you're up. But you're muted.
I'm sorry. I
Say
live in
again?
Pennsylvania, and I've been getting a lot of emails from different companies, and you know, kind of nervous. I don't respond to them because I don't know if they're legit or not. And there was one in particular called Nationwide Notary Network, and I don't know if anybody's heard of them. They're out of Portland, Oregon, but they do I-9s. And they reached out to me and said they had several I-9 applicants for, I guess, jobs uh, that they needed someone to meet up with them and to just verify that, you know, complete the I-9 for them, to verify the ID and stuff. So I don't know, and it kind of made me nervous, so I didn't answer them, but I just want to know if anybody is aware of them, and you know, how do you discern if these companies are legit or not? Because I don't want to respond to anything and take up any work and then not get paid.
Right. And you know what? That's really a hard question for all of us as independent contractors. We don't know. One is you might go to
Better Business Bureau?
what's it called? Notaryreviews.net. That is a membership site though, but she's got over 1,000 of them listed, and they're rated by the notary as to, you know, their payment schedule, as to their timeliness, as to their document packages, all of that. That's one way I've checked on people. The other thing is that a lot of them, like that Nationwide Notary, I'm not going to say they're not legit, but what I'm going to say is they might be just starting out, and I don't think they have the business. Are they promoting themselves as a signing service or a directory? You know, I'm not sure. The other thing is you could ask for references.
Oh, okay.
It might be, you know, from, you know, fellow notaries who's taken work from this company. Did they pay you? Alicia, what state are you again?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Okay.
And my other question is, I really want to do some mock loan signing trainings, and I'm just, you know, kind of an introvert, you know, and I work at the Career Link, and I do get people wanting me to do general stuff, and I do it, but I'm an aesthetic, and I've been a notary for 2 years now, and mobile, and I want to be able to do these things because I get a lot of assignments coming to me, and I don't take them because I'm terrified.
Okay, so, you know, practicing, deliberate practice again, practicing that skill is how you get better at it. So that might mean you make photocopies of blank pages of your journal. You whoever you were certified with, did they give you any sample documents to work with?
Yeah, I have,
okay. So you take the documents and you say to another fellow notary or to a friend or to somebody else to say, I'd like to practice presenting documents to you. I'd like to practice filling out that certificate in the journal with ID, and do what are called mock signings. Now that's the free version, right? You do it on your own. You find somebody to do it with on your own. I offer a class on mock signings. That is live via Zoom, and I present documents to you so you know how they should be presented, and then I make you present them back to me. So we go back and forth until you're comfortable with about 30 different documents. So, and I'm sure that has a cost to it because it's a class, a live class. So that's another option. But if you can find somebody to practice with, whether it's Zoom or whether it's in person, that's going to start building your confidence on that. And if you find that there's what part of the assignment that gives you the most grief, right? What makes you most nervous about it? Is it screening the caller? Is it asking what the fee is? You know, what is it that makes you nervous? Or is it just the notarization itself? Is it introducing documents? What part of the whole process is a problem for you? Because maybe you don't need to do everything. Maybe you just need to focus on what's creating that fear for you.
Yeah. Because I took the notary trust delivery agent course, and I'm working on that and working on my own personal stuff. And now I have family members and friends saying, hey, I need you to help me with my power of attorney, you know, with my, and now I'm like, now this is something I could probably jump into, you know, and maybe get over the nervousness, and maybe it'll help me to do, you know, the other thing.
Other thing is, trying to think, are you engaged in another notary community besides PNC?
No.
So you might want to consider that, because there's a lot of training, a lot of what happens, people become notary buddies, and now you can work with somebody who can help you with that. Notary Business Builders is one of those notary communities where you can be working with other notaries who are like-minded, and many of them help each other out that way rather than going the class route. The class is always there if that's not the route you want to go. If you go to coachmelora.com/products. And on that product page, you'll find a mock signing masterclass.
Yeah.
And then you can take a look at it. And if that looks like that's going to do everything you're looking for, great. We have a match. But if not, there are other ways for you to get there.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. Oh my gosh, I only got about 2 minutes left. Let's see. Where is Bernice? There she is. Bernice, go ahead and unmute yourself if you want to make an announcement.
Thank you. Sorry for my disheveled look. Sorry. But I needed to mute my undo my calendar. Excuse me, my picture. I just wanted to make an announcement for California notaries that on July 13th, there's going to be a networking luncheon at the Skylinks golf course. And I did post the link, the registration link, and you can get all the information on it in the chat section. It's going to be an interesting one because we're excited to bring the community together, because, you know, there's so many of us that are notaries that don't network with others, and there's some that do. But the goal is to introduce us as a community, reintroduce us as a community, one. Two, reintroduce some of the other services that we've learned as a notary that we can do, whether it be trust delivery agent, whether it be marriage officiants, whether it be, in addition to the loan signing, apostille signing. We're having people there that are going to be speaking to us about that. There is a fee, and there's an early bird registration fee of $45. So if anyone is interested, and I will repost the link, would love to have you come and join us and learn as we learn and grow within the notary community. And thank you very much, Laura.
You're welcome. Thanks for sharing that with people. Carol has her hand up. Carol, you got 1 minute.
Yep. Real quick, has anybody on here tried to sign up on Yelp? Is anybody using Yelp? I was trying to do that. Can you do it without an address? I was having some difficulty with that.
Address, so I don't know.
You have an address?
I have an office address, so I do have an address I put on there, and mine is just the profile. I don't use the ads.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we are going to come to the end of another TNT call. Next Tuesday, we'll be back, and Jen will hopefully be back with us. And I will see you next Tuesday. In the meantime, have a super productive week. Take care.